When the Dharma is no longer a belief, there is something strangely paradoxical in the spiritual life of human beings. What begins as something pure, simple, and close to the truth, over time is often covered up by human reverence itself. An awakened one appears in the world, not to give us a religion to worship, but simply to point out suffering and the path to the end of suffering. Yet, generations later, people build around that person temples, rituals, myths, beliefs, symbols, titles, authority, and prayers. And at some point, people no longer see what was being pointed to. They only see the finger. The Buddha, too, has passed through that fate. He did not come to establish a religion in the conventional sense. He did not tell people to believe in him to be saved. He did not promise blessings, nor the erasure of karma, nor entry into heaven. He simply stated very directly, there is suffering, there is the cause of suffering, there is the cessation of suffering, and there is a path leading to that cessation. That is all. But human beings are deeply uncomfortable with such simplicity, because the simplicity of the Dharma requires us to turn back and look directly at ourselves. There is no one left to blame, no one to beg, no external being to carry our anxieties, desires, anger, and ignorance, things we ourselves cultivate every day. So instead of looking into the mind, people create a Buddha outside themselves to rely on. When we do not dare face suffering, we pray for it to disappear. When we do not dare face our karma, we hope someone will remove it for us. When we lack the courage to see, we cling to the idea of an immortal soul that continues after death. And so, gradually, the Dharma is turned into a system that comforts the ego. Listen carefully. The Dharma is not wrong because there are temples, scriptures, rituals, statues, or chanting. These things are not wrong in themselves. But if we bow to gain advantage over others, chant to earn merit, make offerings to bargain with karma, or keep precepts in hope of reward in a future life, then the Dharma, at that moment, has become a transaction. And a spiritual transaction is still desire. It is just desire wearing sacred robes. The Buddha did not teach us to grow spiritual ambition. He taught us to see it clearly. He did not teach us to become a more refined self. He taught us to see that the self itself is not real. This is the deepest point and also the hardest to accept. There is no permanent self that is living, practicing, attaining, or moving from one life to another. Everything we call I is merely a continuous flow of conditions. When we are happy, we say, I am happy. When we are sad, we say, I am sad. When we are angry, we say, I am angry. But if we look deeply, there is only happiness arising and passing, only sadness moving through, only anger flaring up and fading away. The I that claims ownership cannot be found. It is precisely because we do not see this that we suffer. We cling to the body and fear aging. We cling to relationships and fear abandonment. We cling to beliefs and fear doubt. Even when we enter the path, the ego follows. It no longer boasts about wealth, power, or beauty. Instead, it boasts about practice, knowledge, morality, purity, and letting go. An ego dressed in worldly clothes is dangerous. An ego dressed in spiritual robes is far more subtle. That is why a practitioner must be very careful. Understanding through words is not the same as seeing. True seeing does not arise in the intellect. It happens when the mind becomes completely still, no interpretation, no seeking, no effort to become special. Then, when anger arises, it is seen simply as anger. Not I am angry, but anger is present. When sadness comes, it is seen as sadness. Just sadness is present. When desire arises, it is seen as desire. Without chasing it, it fades. That is practice. Practice is not decorating the ego with beautiful ideas. Practice is seeing every movement of the ego until it has nowhere left to hide. Someone once asked the monk, "Should we pray?" The monk replied, "If prayer softens your heart and makes you more compassionate, then pray. But do not think prayer can replace your transformation. You pray for peace, yet live in greed and anger. Where will peace come from? You pray to remove karma, yet keep creating karma. Will remove it. The Buddha is not a giver of miracles. He is a light that shows us why we suffer. Keeping precepts is not to gain merit. It is to calm the mind. When you lie, your mind knows. When you harm others, your mind knows. Precepts are not a prison. They are protection for the clarity of the mind.